Mr. Maluleke, thanks for your time. You are part of the ANC governing alliance. Are schools shutting down, and if so, when?
Let me say good morning to Baba Mugambi and your colleagues and to the viewers at home. And thank you indeed for this opportunity for us to be with you. We have made a calling that the school should be closed. We are aware that the Department of Education will make an announcement this evening or this afternoon, whatever time. We're not sure because we have had a meeting with them since Friday. We've been engaging them, but they have not been able to tell us exactly when they will make that announcement. However, we know that our proposals have been taken to the cabinet, and therefore we are certain that the schools will be closed.
Where do you stand on the argument, Mr. Maluleke, from some people, including members of the public, by the way, who say teachers wanting to sit at home and be paid free of charge for no teaching and learning is simply laziness? Because what about the other public servants, like police, like nurses, who are right at the front line of this pandemic?
Well, first and foremost, we would want to thank all the workers in the front line, and including the teachers, because they are also part of the frontline workers, because education and the economy are symbiotic, and therefore we also are the drivers of the economy. And indeed, we are aware of the challenges that all the public servants are facing, and we did not take this particular decision lightly. It is because the situation in our school was that we are just going for compliance. And as an organization, we believe that when you go to the school, it must be an effective learning and teaching. And the impression that teachers are lazy need to be corrected, because we need to begin to appreciate that education is essential in our lives. And these are workers who are building the nation and making sure that we have got peace. And they do that work with passion, because most of these teachers, they take work home every day. They don't sleep without marking the work of our learners, and in the morning they have got to be in the classroom, so they don't have family time. That's why most of the teachers are really suffering from depression, fatigue, and everything. And as and when we began to see that schools were closing down and opening, and the teachers were really experiencing trauma, they were experiencing a high level of anxiety. They were not in good shape for them to be able to teach our learners. So the only way was to break and fix the things that we're supposed to fix, give the Department of Health space to breathe and make sure that they build a better capacity to help our school. We're a labor-intensive sector as education. We bring a lot of traffic into there. So if we're able to break this thing, we will be able to contribute towards the capping of the transmission. And I think the public, and I'm part of that public, will be able to benefit. And therefore, it shouldn't be that we undermine the work of the teachers. They work throughout the year. They never close. They work in weekends. They work holidays. They work in the afternoon. So the debate should be that what is it that we're trying to address, and not whether they're going to get a salary. They are going to be working, even if they're closed now.
You see, that argument, Mr. Maluleke, it would appear that you are contradicting yourself here today, because a week ago you said there has been no effective teaching and learning because the department has not observed the COVID-19 regulations. So how do you guarantee that they will continue to be teaching and learning when schools are shut?
They have been doing that since the lockdown for information, because they've been communicating with their learners through the WhatsApp. I mean, we...
So teaching and learning has been happening via WhatsApp, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we have been using all the platforms, so I'm not contradicting myself. We were saying, because there are no learners in the classrooms, there are no teachers there, because the teachers are on quarantine, the teachers are in self-isolation, the protocols have not been observed. Let's fix those things so that we are then able to have the learners back in the classroom, we have effective learning and teaching. You cannot be teaching 4 learners out of 15 because the other 15 are not there because the parents have kept
Mr. Maluleke, let me interrupt. Sorry to do this to you.
No problem.
Let's talk about the gadgets that you say teachers have been using. So you're saying WhatsApp is one implement that has been used. What other gadgets have teachers been using to engage their children?
The teachers, mostly in the rural areas, were also making sure that they encourage the learners to use the radio lessons that have been broadcasted. Some of them were using the community radio station in around Sikukuni and Hamatlala. We're working very hard to ensure that they go there and use the radio station. I know that in Vembe, around Seshego and so forth, they were also using a lot of the Radio Tobela, Radio Mungana Lonene, to ensure that they themselves, as the teachers, were teaching physical science, they were teaching mathematics, and so forth. So they were engaging with their learners, because when the school closes, learning should not stop. And I think that is what the teachers are teaching us, is that they have the best interest of the children at heart. And that's why they do all sorts of things out of their own money to ensure that we are able to help our children. So there's no contradiction at all.
2 quick questions, Mr. Maluleke. One, the understanding is that the closure of schools, and the way your language here this morning is quite clear that the minister is going to announce a closure of schools. Is this going to be for an indefinite period? And if so, can we conclude that the 2020 academic year is a lost cause anyway?
It's not going to be an indefinite closure. We made it very clear when we took a resolution that we would want to close during the time of winter. It's an influenza month, but we also have to look at the peak and will be guided throughout. So yes, the year 2020 has not been written off, because you would know that if we write the year 2020, you are writing it for the poor children, because they are the ones who will not be able to come to the classes. The other schools have got the capacity to be able to continue, and they have got all sorts of resources to be able to write their matric. So therefore, it's not indefinite. We have never called for an indefinite closure. We are going to be assessing throughout and reviewing throughout, because the evolution of the virus has taught us that last week is not going to be the same as next week.
Final question, and very briefly, Mr. Maluleke. We have seen reports and even acknowledgement from some provinces that there has been corruption as far as PPE delivery in schools is concerned. How rife is the problem, and what is being done to fix it?
Well, as a union, we may not be able to have the quantum in terms of the money that might have been wasted, the money that might have been stolen. However, corruption in the country is rife. Just generally speaking, it's rife. People, when there's a crisis, they see an opportunity to make a killing out of that particular catastrophe. So therefore, it's what we have resolved as an organization, that we are going to be working together with the law enforcement agencies to open charges or lay charges against those that we are able to lay our hands on, those who are involved in the corruption, because this country cannot really tolerate what is happening. This is a crisis, and in a crisis you cannot be seeing bread when people are dying. You are supposed to be giving quality PPEs, we're supposed to be given quality tanks for water, and that's what we need. An investment in education is an investment in the growth of our economy, is an investment in peace.
Mokoena Maluleke, thank you very much for your time. He is General Secretary of Union SACTU.